What's good, gamers? Blood941 here, back with another episode of Why Can't You Just Be Happy? In my endeavor to be different than every other Destiny creator on this website, I have decided to talk about something that I just don't see acknowledged in many places. Yeah, it's a negative topic, and I should probably just not and enjoy the honeymoon phase while it lasts, but I'm concerned we're going to end up back in the same place we were before all of the overhauls that we got that were intended to lower ability uptime, especially in PvP, but this also extends to PvE. Before we get really into the nitty-gritty though, if y'all could click the like button, hit the subscribe as well, that'd be really cool. I put up 2 videos a week, Tuesdays and Fridays at noon Eastern time. Sometimes they're Destiny, sometimes they're not. Y'all really seem to like the Gears of War video I put out, even though it was just me going, yeah, Gears is good and I have a history with it. Yeah, but fuck it. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I want to do, so thanks for that. Anyway, not the point, moving on. Prismatic's ability combinations and uptime are too strong, and I think that power creep is still a genuine concern that we have to deal with. So I'm going to talk about Hunter first, because that's the one that I play the most, obviously, and it's also the only Prismatic subclass that I have first-hand experience with. Stylus Executioner and Gunpowder Gamble, essentially not having any requirement to build up or activate, is wild to me. Getting wall hacks plus invis and a grenade that doesn't have to deal with any discipline tier timer, while also letting keep your actual grenade of choice, is so fucking nuts. You'll be invisible so much that there's no need to try to work it into your loop. It'll just happen. And you'll have this absurd level of destructive power at your fingertips at basically all times. The requirements are debuffed enemies or solar kills or something, and like, dude, I chuck one Withering Blade shuriken into like 2 enemies and all of a sudden I have both of them active. Now, yes, there is something to be said about how, well, if they were to make their requirement too stringent, it just wouldn't happen and it would require too specific of a build to even work in the first place. Like, if you made it a void debuff specifically, you would have to play in a very specific way. And I don't think there are very many void debuff options for Prismatic Hunter. But limitations that require you to play in a certain way in order to build into a certain effect are usually how they balance very, very strong effects. And as we're all aware, Invis is very strong, and wall hacks, especially in PvP, is really fucking strong. So, Gunpowder Gamble isn't a PvP concern, that's for damn sure. But being able to have both grenades is a lot. Now, that being said, I like the utility of being able to throw your gamble and then grapple onto it. That's really cool, and it adds to the mobility fantasy that Prismatic Hunter has. High APM is also very fun. Press buttons to see cool shit happen. That's just gaming right there. But with how often these things are up and feed into each other, like, I feel like that it's too much. I feel like it's too much. On Titan, well, they've got Knockout, which makes you want to fucking die in PvP, but that's whatever. Diamond Lance has the same generation requirements that Gamble does, matching elemental kills and our ability that applies a debuff. Then you get a pickup that acts as a weapon. You pair that with any Tango generation, you've got Insane Move and Male Uptime, which is a buff. You've also got Consecration, potentially. You will never have to shoot your gun again. Cool Root and I ran through the campaign on Legend, which was so much fucking fun. But I'm actively choosing to shoot my gun instead of letting throwables and subclass effects kill things for me. I spent an entire mission just throwing tangos, lances, grenades, threaded spikes, and withering blades, not shooting outside of puzzle interactions, just to see if it could be done, and it wasn't even that hard. The unrivaled Slayer capacity from abilities in my shooter is I think we've skewed too far in one direction. Space Magic is cool, I've said that before, but I just think the balance is leaning in a certain way. And speaking of not shooting, Warlock has the swarm of buddies that all based around ability consumption that really doesn't have downtime because everything feeds into itself. Like, you consume a grenade, you get a stasis turret, and an arc buddy. Then you could use your class ability to get Hellion, that does too much damage in PvP, by the way, but that's whatever.
Editing Blood Elf here. Apparently this was to do with a certain helmet that they actually managed to disable since I started editing and recording, so still think my point stands even with that being the case.
And that's all at once. You had no time to explain to that, and you've got 4 different turrets shooting for you. Now, I'd say it's funnier than it is practical, But the clips I've been seeing of this are absurd. You look at a guy, and he just dies from things that you didn't have to aim. One good proc, and you're set with how easy it is to generate energy right now. Now, this all gets compounded by Transcendence, just giving free ability energy and hypercharge rate, plus the unique grenades. Easier to do in PvE than PvP, obviously, but ability energy generation for free. Not to mention all the other effects that come with being Transcendent. Like, where is the downtime when the guns shine? Like, when you're suppressed by Tormentors? Like, I mean, I guess. Requiring holy fucking shit. Requiring crit damage means that, sure, you will have to use your gun. We haven't even talked about any of the fragment synergies, but there's buff and debuff keyword interactions that generate energy based on what you're doing, extra effects on certain types of kills. I'm not familiar with all of it just yet, but going infinite isn't that hard to do. I also am not doing any more than a cursory, oh yeah, this is what I've noticed without any research glance. So there's so much more potential here than I can speak to. Buildcraft has never been to this degree in Destiny, ever. And that's a good thing. Like, don't get me wrong, that is a good thing. Rewarding, heavy investment, knowing your kit, knowing the way that things interact, finding those niche spots, that's very, very cool and good. But the upper ceiling is just, ooh, it's way too fucking high in my opinion. Maybe that's to do with artifact mods. Certain things generate energy for themselves, and, you know, maybe next episode it might not be as bad. But when I have to actively try to shoot the gun in my looter-shooter, I think something might be a little overtuned. Now, you might be saying to yourself, oh, typical elitist Destiny player complaining that the game's too easy. I'm actually not saying that for once. I think Bungie knocked it out of the park with encounter design on higher tier difficulties to encourage engagement and experimentation with the build and utilization of your entire kit. Difficulty itself seems to be in a good place. I've seen some rumblings about Sherpaing and surging in raids though, but that's not my place or wheelhouse to speak to.
Editing Blood Oath here, they also remove surges in raids and other activities. No longer even a concern.
So, I can't really talk about that all that much, but it seems that this game is actually difficult again, and that's good. I'm not saying that Prismatic is a bad thing. I think the fact that each Prismatic subclass does something specific very well, and the others don't, is really cool, and displays a fantastic understanding of what the issues that arise when you let players mix and match can be. You know, Hunter's very mobile, Titan's CC into big damage, Warlock is a summoner, right? Those are specific class fantasies, and that is a good thing. I'm just concerned about the pure Slayer power and uptime on certain abilities. I think those are some things that we need to keep an eye on, and I'm I'm concerned that things aren't going to sit in a very good spot. Especially in PvP, I am biased, so yeah, that probably makes a lot of you go, wow, I don't want to listen to you, you fucking suck. But PvP kind of shows signs of being neglected again. I would love to be wrong, and would like to think that Bungie saw the response to the map pack and balance changes and understood that investing in the Crucible is always a good thing. But I'm concerned. Now, nothing definitive yet. We're still really close to the launch of the final shape. The real PvP hours, once everybody's gotten the new shiny builds and gear to test on other players, have yet to come around. That downtime after all the funny killing aliens is done and we're just shooting each other for fun, right? I'm just that guy that likes to say that he saw the writing on the wall ahead of time, so we can say, I told you so. Now, by putting this out, I get a win-win situation. Either I'm wrong, and we're getting an actual renewed focus on PvP, or I'm right, and I can smugly point here when we go back to our old ways of hoping for a crumb of attention. Yeah, I'm a real asshole. Something is wrong with me. I can't just enjoy when things are good. I need to pick. I need to cause problems, so... Why am I making a negative video at the best time to be a Destiny player? I don't know, dude. Do you guys think I'm insane? Probably. Do you think that I'm wrong? Is this something that I shouldn't actually be concerned about? Like, I know that a lot of people are like, Destiny's not a PvP game. It's like 10% PvP. And I'm like, well, you're wrong, but that's fine. You're welcome to be wrong. It's something I'm concerned about, and I should probably just enjoy the good times while they're here, but I have a problem, and I have a compulsion to pick at things. I would love to hear what y'all are thinking in those comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Destroy us.